Does Hyderabad truly deserve 177 crores per acre?
A very big yes, Rajiv. Hyderabad deserves 177 crore per acre valuations. No two ways about it.
October 6th, 2025 marks a day in the history of Hyderabad, Telangana, where we have achieved a whopping 177 crore per acre in the auction at TGIIC, and the government of Telangana earned 3,000 plus crores in this auction. It is a landmark day for the future of Telangana. And today we have with us the person who steered the government of Telangana and conducted this auction and represented each and every citizen in that auction by putting Hyderabad on the global map. Mr. Sandip Patnaik, Senior Managing Director, JLL India. Thank you for coming today and having scheduled this time with us. It was difficult to get hold of you, but thank you so much because there are so many people who are waiting to hear from you behind how did Hyderabad manage to achieve this massive pricing per acre, 177 crores.
Thank you, Rajiv, for inviting me for this podcast. And once again, I'd like to congratulate the government of Telangana, the TGIC officials. Without the support of them, this auction would have not been possible. The team JLL for this mega success of the auction. Very, as a proud Hyderabadi, I'll request everyone, all the Telugus across the world, to invest heavily in the state of Telangana and the city of Hyderabad. Take Hyderabad to the next level. Next 5 to 10 years, this should be the best city to live in, best city to shop, best city to dine, best city to for medical tourism, best city for education in India. And let's make sure this dream which we are living in will make it happen.
We've been getting all sorts of inquiries and from investors and developers all the way from New York and Dallas and across the world. What's happening? Could you shed some light on this?
177 crore per acre valuation. It is just wow. I've been in real estate for more than 20 years, close to 20 years, with JLL now uh, for almost the same 19, 20 years. I would have never thought that Hyderabad will see a day where we can achieve 177 crore per acre valuation. And let me tell you with all the confidence that it is good for the city, it is good for the state. And when we during this interview, I'll tell you why this high valuation, 177 crore per acre, is good for the city and good for the state. And I'm so thrilled, I'm so happy, I'm so proud that JLL was part of this entire auction process. JLL advised the state government of Telangana, and I'll always remember in my career that myself and my team and my colleagues were part of this entire auction, and this will always stay with me. And I'll never forget 6th October 2025 in my entire life. Thank you.
We've heard that JLL has been instrumental in advising the government uh, to take up this auction at this price. What are your thoughts? I mean, did you do your math, or was it FOMO that was playing into the hearts of those who went ahead and, you know, played this? I'm sure it was your team and, headed by you and some very sharp people. Still, I would like to have this question pointed at you so that, people understand. Like,
No, you're bang on target, and I can tell you I take pride in saying that it was JLL who advised and gave the confidence to the government that land valuation needs to be higher. And just to tell you, the one of our competitors, I cannot name, who was earlier advising the government, had pegged the land valuation at 60 to 70 crore, and it is like trying to sell a Ferrari at the price of a Hyundai, right? And this land is Ferrari, and it has to be sold at a valuation of Ferrari. We came in and we told the government that we are very confident that they can be able to get the valuation. uh, to be very honest, credit to the government, credit to the TGIC officials. We expected that, in all fairness, we expected that it will touch 150 crore. We never expected it will touch 177 crore. I'll be lying that if I said I expected 177 crore. But you can understand, we expected 150 crore that this land will achieve, whereas our competitor gave a valuation of 60 to 70 crores, right? That as I said earlier, it is a Ferrari. It has to be sold at the valuation of Ferrari, not at the valuation of a Hyundai car. Point number one. Now, what is the role of a transaction advisor? When government appointed JLL as the sole transaction advisor, the role of a transaction advisor is to first advise the government what is the right valuation, what is the right approach, right, and what is the right methodology to do the transaction, right. If we are not advising the government of what is the right valuation, then we are not the right partner. And I'm happy that we did the right job in advising what is the right valuation, right. And I'm happy and proud that we did our work well, and that is why we were hired, right. That's why we were hired. So I'm extremely happy and extremely proud. And if I can tell a big yes, that yes, we gave the government the confidence that this valuation can come, but it is all credit to the TGIC officials, to the state government, that they bought it to the level of 177 crore per acre.
Absolutely. I mean, not just for JLL. I mean, it was a turning point for Telangana and the city of Hyderabad in establishing itself as one of the top cities to look at for all the global investors. But do you think there's economic sense, or, as you know, Hyderabad real estate, or any real estate for that matter, purely thrives on sentiment? Is there any economic sense on how uh, you perceive this or these investments unfolding over the years when it reaches the end consumer? What are your thoughts on that?
I firmly believe, Rajiv, uh, it makes a lot of economic sense. Let's do some number crunching. First of all, in real estate, like stock market, has a lot to do with sentiments. But I, being a responsible official from JLL and a responsible stakeholder in the real estate fraternity in Hyderabad, I cannot just talk and give my answers out of sentiments. I will give my answers based out of logic, rational statistics, numbers. Now let's talk about numbers. We are talking about there were two plots sold. The 7.6 acres, which was bought by the pharma giant MSN Pharma at 177 crore valuation, and the other one, the 11 acres, was bought by the prestige developers from Bangalore at 141 crore per acre valuation. At a height of 150 meters allowed, if you do a backward maths, Rajiv, the land FSI cost works out anywhere around 4,500 rupees per square feet, the land FSI cost, because you will build anywhere between 4 lakh square feet to 5 lakh square feet at a 150-meter height. So the land FSI cost is 4,500 rupees per square feet. The construction cost is 6,000 to 6,500 rupees per square feet. And the interest cost will be around 2,000 rupees. So all put together, you are around 13,000 rupees, right? And the selling price, right, is around 19 to 20,000 rupees. And let me tell you, both the developers are planning for commercial or a mixed use, right? The going rental in that part of the city for commercial real estate now, as we speak, is 110 rupees warm shell without parking facility, without maintenance. We have a developer in that part of the city where its asset is coming for leasing for another 18 months. They're refusing to lease anything less than 125 rupees. Now we talk of this two asset which Prestige and MSN Pharma has taken. It will take 4 to 5 years for them to come out to construct and be ready to lease. At that point of time, take my word, I can write on stamp paper that the ongoing, that point of time, the leasing rentals will be 140 to 150 rupees. And if you do a maths calculation based on that, you will get anywhere between 6,000 rupees to 9,000 rupees margin per square feet. So obviously the maths is taking up. So it is completely justified that 177 crore per acre makes a lot of economic sense. So I can tell you with all conviction that it makes economic sense, and it is. And let me tell you, it is good for the city of Hyderabad, and it is good for what has happened. Is good for this city of Hyderabad, and it is good for the city, for the state of Telangana.
That is a very beautiful breakdown of how the
And I
maths
told you,
works
Rajiv,
out.
that I'm going to talk with a lot of rational logic, numbers, statistics. I'm not going to talk of only sentiments, in spite of real estate being sentiments, right?
Absolutely.
So whatever question you ask me, I'll back with full conviction. I'll back with full numbers. So please go ahead and ask me as many questions you can want.
I expect nothing less from you. So, given the fact that Raidurgam has achieved this kind of evaluation, what are your thoughts on the ripple effect of this in the neighboring 4 to 5 or 6 kilometer radius? Don't you think it would make it a little difficult for those who wish to acquire lands in these areas, that they would get to hear statements like, that is the valuation in that area, why should we sell for any lesser? How do you see the ripple impact of this on the neighboring micro markets?
I'll come to this question a little later. Please allow me to give you a different perspective, also different. Do you think Hyderabad has a better real estate market than Chennai? Yes or no?
Yes, currently.
Better Hyderabad has a better ecosystem than Chennai?
I would say yes.
Big yes. Recently in Chennai, Nugamagam area, a 5 acres land got sold to a local developer, and this land used to belong to a corporate. Got sold, 5 acres land got sold at 1,100 crore, which means close to 5.6 acre got sold at 1,100 crore, works out to 200 crore, right? 200 crores in Chennai, right? And we're talking of Hyderabad, Raidurg, right? 177 crores. Why I give you these statistics? I think, as I told you, a lot of people will make noise. There are a lot of naysayers, and as I told you, I'll back my my argument with a lot of logic. If a city like, I can tell you with all conviction, Hyderabad is here and Chennai is here. When you talk of ecosystem, when you talk of, you talk of the economic activity, IT parks and all. I can tell you, Raidurg, the way the knowledge city, in and around knowledge city, Raidurg has come. It is the best ecosystem India currently has, right? And I think the second place where we can really compare Raidurg is the DLF Cyber City area, right? So if a land can get sold at 200 crore valuation in Chennai, I think 177 crore is still low valuation. Point number one. Point number two, why with full conviction? Let me tell you, after listening to this podcast of mine, there will be few developers or investors will say, Sandeep, we don't agree with you. With every action as equal opposite reaction, you cannot make everyone happy, and you cannot, every logic of yours, not necessarily everyone agrees. I'll tell you why I'm very happy that Hyderabad has seen this amazing auction rate of 177 crore per acre. I always believe every mature city, every successful city needs to have a core area. For Hyderabad, it is Rayadur, and future it will be Neopolis, which needs to have a high valuation. Reason being, I'm a fundamental believer that high valuation, whether it is the high leasing rates, high valuation of flats, or high price of hotel rate, or high price of F&B of that core area, directly, indirectly shows the economic prosperity of that city and that location. And let me back you by some some examples. Let's talk about Dubai. You have the core area of Dubai, Rajiv. You have this 3, 4, 5 kilometers around Burj Khalifa, where you have the best of the restaurant, best of the real estate, and the costly real estate, and the costly flats, and the costly villas. Then you have the outskirts, where the Indian developer Shova is making a huge township. So the both coexist, right?
Yes.
But the core of Dubai is all about that area.
Correct.
Where Imar is doing it.
Correct.
Right? When anyone goes and says Dubai is amazing, is because of that core area. And that core area is costly. And that same thing is Canary Wharf in London.
Ideally.
The same thing is the golf course extension road in DLF. Right? So every mature city, and its time has come that Hyderabad, Raidurg needs to have this valuation, because this shows the economic prosperity of Hyderabad. Hyderabad needs not one Raidurg, it needs at least 3 to 4 Raidurg, and I'm very confident that in future, after the success of Hyderabad, it will be Neopolis.
But Sandeep, You are starting to sound like a representative of the government of Telangana trying to sell this to the world that it is a good thing. What is your perspective on how this is going to reflect on the pocket of the end users?
So I'm not sure whether I should laugh or I should get upset about your comment that I'm talking like as a representative of government of Telangana. But let me make on a lighter note. You had started talking like a TV reporter. But leave that aside. I am sitting here and talking as a representative of each and every resident of Hyderabad, state of Telangana, and I'm sitting here as a responsible employee of JLL, right? And I'm proud that what the state of Telangana has achieved with this success of auction. I'm proud what TGISC has achieved with this auction of 177 crore per acre, and I'm proud what JLL has achieved. So absolutely, and I'm thrilled, and I can tell you that this success of this auction is going to define. I have already told at the start of this interview, and I'm going to tell you that this is going to redefine the way real estate is going to be seen, perceived in future in Telangana and in Hyderabad.
People are definitely going to have mixed opinions about that. However, rolling back to a couple of statements you just mentioned, this auction that happened in Nungambakam and
That was a private deal. It was not an auction in November. It was a private land deal.
private land deal, okay, and also the race course, the land rates or the rental leasing rates in on race course road or
Golf course extension road in
extension
Gurgaon.
in Gurgaon, or I think one parallel can be drawn with the BKC in Mumbai. See, these are landlocked zones, and these are some very highly concentrated zones with established GCCs having their markets in those, presence in those markets. But Hyderabad has so much of land further available. How do you perceive? Is this, how do I say, something that is going to create a positive ripple, or is it going to create something of a bubble? Or where do you see the people perceiving this?
Very good question, Rajiv. I'm glad that you asked this question. The way you said that Bombay is a landlocked city, so high rates is justified. Similarly, Raidurg is a landlocked place. Then you have an amazing FSI available, 150 meters height, so people can do 400,000 to 500,000 square feet construction. Point number two. Point number three, see the ecosystem, see the surrounding. And people, whether it is MSN Pharma, whether it is Prestige, have paid money because of this three. Because there is no supply of land there, because of the overall ecosystem, the look and feel, the infrastructure, and the overall potential of the price rentals, what they can get after 4 5 years. And obviously the high FSI, they paid for thing. So you're 100% right. The way Bombay, it is a landlocked and there is no land available. Similarly, Raidurg does not have. Now, I'll give you a very interesting example. Now, there is land available, right, in financial district or further down financial district. So why does someone pay 177 crore per acre, that is MSN Pharma, and 141 crore per acre Prestige in Raidurg, right? When they could have got land at much cheaper rate in financial district. I'll give you some statistics. High Tech City, which is just 9 kilometers away from financial district, High Tech City is trading now in terms of office leasing at 110 to 120 rupees per square feet. That is the reason, the importance of Raidurg, right? Now, that is the reason why these two bidders have paid the top dollars. And I am again repeating, and people who are hearing me in podcast, after 4 5 years, 140 to 150 rupees will be the rental, warm shell rental, plus parking and plus maintenance, right? So I'm very fully confident, and absolutely in near future, over next 4 to 5 years, with these two commercial projects coming by MSN Pharma and Prestige, it is only going to add to what we are seeing in Raidurg.
Interesting. So, from what I understood from what you just said, so these two parcels are going to hold the most premium real estate in that sector,
Absolutely.
and they're going to harness the global players who can understand the importance of being in that location.
100%.
And it's not for everyone.
100%. 100%.
Got it. So probably, I guess, same thought process must have been of the consumers who are watching this podcast right now. Back in 2017, when I guess it was a developer who purchased at 42 or 45 crores an acre. I guess that is when people must have thought he lost his mind. And today we are talking of 177 crore. And going by the confidence that you are displaying, I think we will soon be beating 200 CR also. But too bad there's no land there.
So you know what? I still remember this developer friend of mine who bidded and got this land in the auction, state auction in 2016-17 at somewhere around 43-44 crore. People at that point of time, the ongoing land rate was between 20 to 25 crores. People, the fellow developers, his friend said that he has gone mad. It was a front page news in Economic Times. Everyone cursed him, saying that that gentleman is responsible for increasing the price in Raiduru. Now in hindsight, right? Now everyone must be thinking that he was lucky that he got the land at such cheap rate. At that point of time in 2016-17, those developers who were cursing him that he was responsible for doubling the price in that location and blaming him must be now thinking he's lucky that he got the land at such cheap price. So in hindsight, everything looks good, right? Let's have this podcast after 5 years. So Prestige at 141 crore and MSN Pharma at 177. After 5 years, the same developers who are now thinking that, criticizing or saying that it is a very costly land, will be saying that MSN Pharma and Prestige have got land at a very, very economical rate. So in hindsight, everything looks good. At present scenario, you'll have a lot of people who will debate and will say or criticize and stuff like that. So I think I've seen enough cycle to say take light of all these things.
So, through this podcast, can we pass a message out to the people that these particular land parcels are mixed use, high end commercial, high end residential, and they are not in any way going to impact the common man who's trying to fulfill his dream of owning a home in a nearby micro market? Can you support this fear that people might have? Can we drive that message out through this podcast?
See, my initial discussions with Prestige and Emerson Pharma says that obviously Prestige is talking. It is very initial stages. Them not none of them. It's too early for them to plan their master planning, plan their product mix. It's too early, right? It will take them at least 6 months, 1 year. But what I understand is they are going, majority of the asset class they are going to do is office space, and there can be a little bit of high end residential and a hospitality angle to it.
Hotels also, yes.
Yeah, but no way to it's going to impact the common people from that perspective. The product mix will be a combination of high end office space, high end residential, and an hospitality angle thrown to it. But it's too early to comment on the product mix because the auction just happened 10 days back.
So, in that case, what would you have to say to the common man who's looking to buy a mid segment home in about 5 to 7 kilometers adjoining to this area, like in Kondapur or in the upcoming markets of Kollur and Mokila or Narsingi? What would your advice be to those home buyers on how to approach this if suddenly they come across, or developers also who are looking to procure some land
I know,
parcels?
let's look at the positive side. I always believe that whenever a challenge, let's suppose whenever a challenge is thrown, now for this land auction, few developers are looking at this as a challenge. What will happen is that now developers, Hyderabad, all the developers were trying to do their construction in the Western Corridor. Now developers will start looking at other micro market. Will start looking at north in towards Medchal, Kompally, towards east. This is a good thing. Now Hyderabad, if every developer is trying to construct in the Western Corridor, it will get choked. We want an all-around development. Now with this auction, there are a lot of developers, small and mid. If they cannot afford this high price, they will be forced to look at other parts of the city, which is good for the city. We want city of Hyderabad to have all-around developer, and this auction in a positive way will force the developers to look at other locations, and it is good for the city. There will all-around development, and it will open more pockets in the Hyderabad for residential developments. Overall, it's a positive impact. That's how I look at this, the positive side of this auction.
That is certainly a way of looking at it. I believe those who would want to continue to look for properties in this area, I guess, will have to just handle this better. But definitely, it's a positive sign for Hyderabad.
But it's going to, I'm telling you, the positive side of this, that is going to people start looking at positively more locations which they were not looking at, whether it is Kompally, whether it is Medchal, whether it is south of Hyderabad towards the airport, or towards Patencheru and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, also coming to the next point, do you think this will have the world divert its entire attention towards bringing a massive influx of FDI into Hyderabad, because it may be coming across as a place with a lot of action and optimism, with good infrastructure and stable law and order and all of this? Do you think we're going to grow more rapidly because of this?
100%. I think the earlier I told you why this auction is very good, because I always say that every city, as I told you, there should be core areas which should be, the costly areas is an economic indicator. It's a good indicator for economic development. Just look at any city growth. We need for any city to be looked at by foreign investors, by billionaires to settle in. We need amazing beyond IT parks, right? Where did most of the cities in India have failed? They have good IT parks, but beyond good IT parks, we don't have great malls, we don't have great hospitals, we don't have great five-star hotels, we don't have great F&B. Hyderabad does not have a single Michelin star restaurant, right? So what I'm trying to say is that, just think, I'm just giving an example, I'm just thinking why. If Prestige has bidded this 11 acres land and they make a mixed use, I'm just throwing, just trying to think why. If in their mixed use they bring a Michelin star restaurant, will it not add value to the overall ecosystem in Hyderabad? Yes, it's going to add. So we have to think a little differently, right? And I want, right, the way that is, a lot of Telugu millennials and billionaires are settled in Dubai, in US, right? What is the ecosystem Hyderabad is going to create beyond IT park, so that in future 5-10 years down the line, all the Telugu will say that, wow, Hyderabad is a place for us. Let's leave US, let's leave Dubai and settle in Hyderabad, right? And I, as a proud Hyderabadi, and I always laugh and tell that while my Janmabhoomi is Orissa, my Karmabhoomi is Hyderabad. I've been here for last 26 years, intend to stay for lifelong. I want Hyderabad to have an 360-degree all-around development. I want best of the restaurant here. I want best of the five-star hotel, best of the hospital, best of the malls, best of the Michelin star restaurant, right? Then only you'll have all the people who have settled in US, in Singapore, in Hong Kong to come and stay. Just think, I'm just thinking fast forward 5 to 10 years from now, right? Can you have an ecosystem in Hyderabad where the richy rich, the most successful entrepreneurs who are now staying abroad, Indians, not necessarily Telugus, they get to know about Hyderabad. They say Hyderabad is amazing ecosystem, will come and stay in Hyderabad, not in Bombay, not in Delhi, not in and around DLF Cyber City, right? This is where we all as stakeholders, the developers, the landlord, the investors, the consultant, I need to work on, right? And I'm telling you, if there is one area in Hyderabad which is slowly inching towards that, it is Raidurg. But we need to have multiple Raidurg, and I can tell you the Neopolis is one of them, right? And in next 10 years, all the stakeholders of Hyderabad need to. And why I'm saying is that now people, as you know, and I'm let me give a perspective. Why I'm saying is that we need to create that ecosystem of multiple Raidugs and Neopolis where you need to have best of the. When you have the richies, the millionaires and the billionaires and successful entrepreneurs coming and staying, please understand, when they come and stay, they will invest money here, they will create jobs here, and they will spend money here, right? Now, when they spend money, it gives a boost to the local economy. Just think, if you in the 10 years down the line, let's suppose 20 billionaires come and stay, they leave Dubai, they leave US and stay here, because we create that ecosystem. When they stay here, they will spend money. They'll spend money in the F&B. The restaurant ecosystem will go up, right? Now, just think, I'm just giving perspective. They'll say, we want to buy, let's suppose, 100 flats of 2000 square feet and rent it out. We want to have a rental model. Don't you think the mid-size developer who is building those 2000 square feet flats will get benefited? So we don't look at business from that angle. We always look at, right, economy. We look at businessmen, entrepreneurs, billionaires, millionaires. Now, after hearing, some people will say Sandip Patnaik is supporting and only talking of millionaires, billionaires. No, please understand. When you create an ecosystem, when people come and stay in Hyderabad, make them, it has a direct positive impact on the economy on Hyderabad, right? We don't want the rich to leave Hyderabad and go to US or Dubai. Post COVID, a lot of Indians have gone to Dubai. If you see what is happening in UK, a lot of people are leaving UK and going to Dubai, right? And it is giving a boost to Dubai economy. right? So as a real estate fraternity, we all need to think what we can do to Hyderabad beyond just making swanky real estate IT parks, right? So I'm that is the reason I'm saying is that we should not be just happy about creating one Raidurg. I'm very bullish about Neopolis, and we need at least in Hyderabad couple of more Raidugs. Then we can tell you no city in India can touch Hyderabad, right? So yeah.
So that was a very extremely energetic and enthusiastic outcome that you are predicting for Hyderabad real estate in the next 10 years. And no matter how big Hyderabad grows, it will always have place for the biggies. But one thing that I would want to emphasize or speak on behalf of the people is that we need to now understand that a lot of these IT parks and GCCs are concentrated in and around the western part of Hyderabad. And given the fact that so much of emphasis is being placed on western Hyderabad, even though you mentioned that other micro markets would see a positive uptrend. However, because of so much of employment concentrated on this part of the city, how do you see the landlords who will now going forward propose the outcomes of what they expect out of their land, in terms of becoming extremely over ambitious or making it difficult for the developer who wishes to give a good product at a good price. So if we are going to talk about high tech city, knowledge city, and Neopolis for that matter, uh, and I understand that you said that Hyderabad is not a landlocked place. So wouldn't it make it a little difficult for the common consumer to look at his house almost like 15-20 kilometers in the next micro market? Inadvertently, the builder and the landlords, both of them would counter intuitively impact the housing market of Hyderabad. What do you have to say to that?
See, let me tell you first of all, any industry is a free market economy, right? The what you really wanted to ask me is that the landlords are going to get greedy.
Yes,
You were
yes.
trying to little diplomatic, but I know you, you wanted to say landlords are not going to get greedy and ask for the top dollars for their land.
Yes.
See, at the end of the day, uh, if it makes economic sense for the developers, they will take the land. If it does not make economic sense, they will not take the land. They will go to those landlords who are reasonable and who are going to give land at a rate which makes economic sense. It happens across India, right? Now that's why I told you earlier in my interview here that it will open up lot many newer areas. It is good for Hyderabad, right? I was told by my team that post auction there are a lot of inquiries in the Indian Medchil and Kompally areas, right? Why? Because people realize that in and around high tech city or Raidur, the prices will go up. Now people are looking at land in Kompally and Mechel. Similarly, people start looking for lands closer to the airport, which is good. Right? It's good for Hyderabad that there will be a 360-degree development, right? And if it is increases the greed for the landlords, and there will be a tipping point that no developer will take land, and in that case, the sense will prevail for the landlords, right? Let the free economy decides, right? In spite of the landlords increasing the prices, if there are developers who are going to take, right, it is either going to make economic sense or not. If it is not going to economic sense, no transaction, then landlords will be forced to reduce the prices, right? Let's the free economy decide it. Point number one. As far as the consumers are concerned, right, let's talk about I have to give an example, right? The best example I can give you in NCR. Now NCR has at least 3-4 states. You have Delhi, Gurgaon, Ghaziabad, Noida, four states, I suppose, 3 or 4 states. Now, people who cannot afford, just to give, depending on where they are working, also depending on workplace, either they are staying in Ghaziabad, they are staying in Noida, they are staying in Greater Noida, they are staying in Gurgaon. People who cannot afford in Gurgaon, what do? They go to Ghaziabad, or depending on where they are staying, or go to Noida, Greater Noida. It is bound to happen. Now, Hyderabad has a population of 1.2, 1.3 crore, right? Now, if the auction rate is going to increase the land rate, which is going to further increase the end product in and around the western corridors, right, which will obviously the pride product, people will then go and look at their flats at different location, right? This is how cities evolve, right? In Bombay, people are staying in Navi Mumbai, right? And then people are taking local train and then they're coming for work. And this is time and again history has proven, whether it is NCR, whether it is Mumbai, right? A very sound public transport is very important, you know. And classic example how the success of metro in NCR has changed the real estate dynamics. Earlier, when the metro was not there or metro was not connected to all the direction, it was a pain for the local travelers. But because of the success of the metro in NCR, now people are staying in different locations. Few people are staying in Ghaziabad, Noida, Greater Noida, Gurgaon. Does not matter. They take the metro and come to work wherever they work. Same thing is going to happen in Hyderabad. So what matters is not the location but the public transport, right? So if the land rates goes up, if the end product goes up in the western quadrant, people will find what do you say, their homes in cheaper location, but public transport has to be robust. That is my perspective. And I think enough example across the world on that, it's what matters is the robust public transport, not where you stay and not so the new locations will come up, so that's I'm not worried about.
So, Sandeep, you have addressed the concerns of the government, the builders, the landlords, the GCCs. I have a strong feeling that the common man wants to understand where he stands in all of this. How is he going to plan his home investment, his land investment, and which micro markets continue to encourage such investing sentiment? And given this recent auction, which areas do you feel would be able to garner continuous investments in the housing and the upcoming retail, not the high end? We're not talking of high street, retail. We're talking of what would be the upcoming markets where the common man would still find safe haven.
Look, first of all, this 3,000 crore plus, which government has earned through auctions. So obviously, government is going to invest for the welfare of the common people, whether it is the welfare schemes for the common people or for the roads and infrastructure, right? To your second question, where do the common people going to invest? Which are the upcoming areas? I strongly believe. See, when I took my first house in Hyderabad in way back in 2009, right? That time, high tech city was considered to be the outskirt, and I took at 3,200 rupees. I'm talking of 2009. Now, high tech city is the core area. Now it is now 12 to 14,000 rupees per square feet. So it is part and parcel of any city. We have seen that in every 15 to 20 years, right? A area which is considered to be outskirts becomes a core area. Now, the way 2008-9 high-tech city was considered to be far off area has now become core. Similarly, what happens is now, at that point of time, in and around Microsoft, the Nanakarmugura Manikonda was considered to be, let's suppose, till 2014-15 was far off. Now it has also become costly. So from that perspective, the city grows, and that is, I think, across the world it happens. Now, if someone has to buy economical flat, someone wants to buy a 1,500 to 1,800 square feet, they can look at Kolur, they can look at Mokila, which is closer to financial district. People who are working in the IT companies in financial district or IT, you'll still get apartments at let's say anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000 square feet. Kolur, Mokila, right? Velamilla and all these areas.
Narsingi also.
Narsing, Velamilla area. No, Narsing is still higher, but I think this areas, Kolur, Mokila, that's the 6 to 8,000 square feet you can still get. And again, as you would have seen how dramatically in last 3 to 4 years, you have seen how Medchal and Kompally has changed, right? It's surprising how things have changed in that micro market. A lot of developments are happening. What really makes me happy that in last couple of years how Hyderabad is developing in terms of residential development for common people. I'm talking of, when I say common people, it is 800 square, let's say 1,000 square feet to 1,500 people square feet houses across Hyderabad. Otherwise it was all around, all while the development were happening only in the western quadrant, but now you see development all across. That gives me the happiness that Hyderabad finally is growing in all directions.
That totally makes sense, because I think that was leaving the common man out of the whole quotient, and I think you brought him right back into the chair. Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thanks once again. Thank you.